The big story of the day in Rome is Rafael Nadal bowing out to Denis Shapovalov 1-6, 7-5, 6-2. Giving you a bit of a rundown of the match, Nadal started off really strong and was able to weather a bunch of heavy blows from the Canadian early on to keep a pretty notable gap in the scoreline. Denis had chances in the opening set but just couldn't cash in due to a combination of both great play from Rafa and just some sloppy play on his own part. Nadal looked to continue his momentum into the second set, holding 3 separate break points in the opening game. Shapo was able to fend them all off, which turned out to be a pretty big turning point in this match. Denis started to make a lot more shots and actually built the points more to allow Nadal the opportunity to miss himself, and miss he did. Rafa looked all out of sorts and Shapovalov took advantage, going up 4-1. The Spaniard did manage to claw his way back and level this at 4 apiece. At 5-6, Nadal was serving to stay in the set. He was up 30-love, but then made 4 consecutive unforced errors, including 2 double faults. At that point, it became apparent that something was not right. Nadal did have a promising start to the decider, breaking right off the bat, only to get broken soon after though. Now, the 2-all game is where things really looked bad, as Rafa was limping a lot during and in between points and looked like he was just struggling to move. At one point, he even hunched over the towel rack in pain, which was really hard to see. I think the foot definitely got worse around this time, and it impacted him for the remainder of the match, as he could barely put the ball in the court. This obviously raises concerns for Nadal's bid for a 14th Roland Garros crown, which starts in less than 2 weeks by the way. Unlike at years past, not only is he injured, but Rafa doesn't have a lot of match reps on the dirt, just playing 2 clay events where he failed to reach the semifinal round. Speaking with the press, Rafa said, "I have my foot again with a lot of pain," Nadal said. "I'm a player living with an injury. It is nothing new. It's something that is there. What can happen in the next couple of days, I don't know. What can happen 1 week, I really don't know now. It's the time to accept the situation and fight. That's it. I don't know if rest, I don't know if maybe practice, but I still have a goal in 1 week and a couple of days. I'm going to keep dreaming about that goal. First thing that I need to do is to don't have pain to practice. That's it. It's true that during the French Open, Roland Garros, I'm going to have my doctor there with me. That sometimes helps because you can do things. Since I came back, the foot has been tough," he said. "It's tough for me to be able to practice the proper way, days in a row. So then you need to move well and to compete at the highest level, something that I am not able to practice. Pain takes away my happiness. There will come a time when my head will say, enough is enough. Not only for tennis, but for life. I like to play, I like to compete. But living with pain is very difficult. I just hope that my foot will allow me to continue competing." That chronic type foot pain Nadal is referring to is called Müller-Weiss syndrome, which is quite literally a chronic untreatable foot condition. Müller-Weiss syndrome occurs when the outside of the navicular bone starts to wear away or disintegrate as a result of trauma, excessive force over time, or developmental abnormality. Nadal actually shut down the remaining of his 2021 season soon after the French because this condition was too much to bear. Rafa, though, accepts that pain is an unfortunate yet omnipresent reality for him both on and off the court, saying in Madrid last week, "If you saw me on a daily basis, you would not be worried because I limp on many days of my life. I always have pain on my foot, especially after playing a 3-hour match or long training, so it's normal that now I am walking a little badly. But I have a chronic foot injury which has no treatment. That's part of my life, and that's the downside of not being able to finish the match earlier." This really makes you wonder, is Nadal's foot capable of withstanding best of 5 on clay? Or even a greater question, can he even handle playing on tour altogether, being in this type of excruciating pain? I personally don't think that we'll see Nadal playing the French Open, at least not completing it, but right now we can only speculate and hope that everything turns out the best for the Spanish great. I do want to give Shapovalov credit though for really hanging in there and finding a way to eventually get the job done. Up next for Denis is Casper Ruud, who seems to be hitting a stride again after a subpar clay season by his standards. World number 1 Novak Djokovic is still breezing through the draw, dominating 2015 Roland Garros champ Denis and Wawrinka 3-2. Novak will now face Felix Auger-Aliassime, who will be playing for the first time actually. I'll be interested to see how that one plays out and whether Felix can somehow challenge and perhaps even take out Djokovic. Home country hope Jannik Sinner is still alive and now plays Stefanos Tsitsipas for a spot in the quarters. Meanwhile, Alexander Zverev meets Chilean Christian Garin. On the women's side, world number 1 Iga Swiatek has now reached 25 consecutive match wins, following her 6-4, 6-1 victory over Victoria Azarenka. This match wasn't at all as routine as the scoreline entails, as Swiatek struggled a lot early on, making an uncharacteristic number of errors while serving pretty poorly. Azarenka was able to take advantage of this, going up 3-love with a double break. However, as she often does, the Pole problem solved and slowly began to regain her form, reeling off 5 consecutive games to go up 5-3. After failing to cash in on 4 set-point opportunities, Swiatek closed it off the hard way, breaking Azarenka on her 5th chance to finally put the 77-minute opener to bed. Azarenka did manage to open the second set with a break of serve, but that was all she wrote for the 2-time major champ. Iga began fully hitting her stride, dominating Azarenka from the ground thereon. She really took it to Vika, stepping up and hitting winners from every part of the court. This was a valiant effort from Azarenka, and I thought that she played pretty well, and it showed that she has the skill to do some damage, even on clay. Vika honestly should have won the first set, considering that she had a break point at 3-1 and 3 break points at 3-all. However, Swiatek showcased exactly why she's the world number 1 and is currently riding this win streak, just stepping up in the big moments and playing the points perfectly to dig herself out of trouble. Iga will actually try to match Azarenka's personal best win streak mark of 26 tomorrow, when she squares off against Bianca Andreescu. Andreescu had a very solid win today, by the way, taking out Petra Martic 6-4, 6-4. This meeting between Andreescu and Swiatek will be their first, and BB actually talked about how much she's excited to play Iga and is looking forward to the challenge. I'm really looking forward to this match and think that Andreescu has a solid shot of at least making this competitive. However, I don't want to hype it up too much because these type of popcorn matches are prone to disappointing. Osaka Swiatek was a bust, Swiatek vs Raducanu was kinda decent but not all that great, and then Andreescu vs Raducanu was an absolute bust. Now for some reason, this match isn't going to be on the main stadium court, which is crazy to me, especially when Teichmann and Kasatkina are there. No offense to them, but come on now. Swiatek and Andreescu is the most exciting matchup to me out of all of these here, even over Djokovic-Aliassime. Looking at it from a glass half full though, maybe this match will actually deliver since it won't be as hyped up and on the center stage, kinda like with Osaka and Anisimova at the Australian Open. Speaking of Anisimova, the American is still alive and in the quarterfinals after dominating Danielle Collins 2-2. Collins had another one of those matches where she was just far too inconsistent. Now giving Danielle some grace, she did have a tough turnaround, having to play a difficult match against Halep late at night and then having to come out a bit earlier to play Amanda. Nonetheless, Amanda's racked up yet another straight sets victory over a top 15 player and will look to go 3-for-3 tomorrow against Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka's looked pretty impressive thus far in Rome, dominating Madrid finalist Jessica Pegula 6-1, 6-4. Aryna will definitely have to bring the same energy tomorrow because Amanda has her number. The Americans won all 4 of their previous meetings, 2 of which came during this clay court season. The matches were tight though, and with how she's been playing at the moment, Sabalenka has a solid shot to end the streak. However, it may be tough to get that monkey off your back, especially when a player's beating you so many times in a row. It'll be incredible though if Amanda is able to go 5-for-5 over Belarusian. Another American, Coco Gauff, was unable to progress to the quarters, falling to Maria Sakkari 6-4, 7-5. This was a solid match from both, and once again, Gauff had her chances and really could have won, but some technical issues prevented her from making her mark in this match. Sakkari does seem to have regained her high-level form and she'll need to maintain it against Ons Jabeur in the quarterfinals. Jabeur is currently riding a 9-match win streak and has been having the best clay season thus far, winning Madrid, making the finals in Charleston, the quarters in Stuttgart, and now the quarters in Rome. How she's been able to win all these back-to-back matches, I have no idea. Our last quarterfinal, as I alluded to, is a bit less star-studded than the rest, as Joe Teichmann takes on Daria Kasatkina. Teichmann outlasted Elena Rybakina in a titanic 3-hour affair, while Kasatkina pushed past second seed Paula Badosa 4-4. Ending this video with some good news, Two former Slam champions have hinted at their long-awaited returns to tennis today. First, 23-time major champion Serena Williams still appears to have her eyes peeled on Wimbledon, posting this reel of her finally on a tennis court, actually hitting tennis balls. Now, I'm not going to get too excited because Serena's trolled us in the past about this stuff, but nonetheless, it was still good to see her back hitting, even if it was only for 5 seconds. I did get a little hyped because she didn't even leave a caption under the video, plus that glare into the camera is giving us the impression that she's going to come back with a vengeance, but I'll truly believe it when I see it. Another American, Swiatek-Andreescu, is also back on the tennis courts after sustaining an apparent leg injury that's kept her out of action since Indian Wells. It seems like Ken is targeting a Wimbledon return as she signed up to play the Nottingham Grass lead-up event. I'd be really happy if Serena, Kenin, and Venus turned up at Wimbledon, but I can only dream for now. That's it for this video, and let me know in the comments whether or not you think we'll see Nadal in Paris. Also, share your thoughts on all the upcoming Rome matchups, plus Serena and Kenin's comeback. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post more Rome update videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.